my God, push the button already. I forgot to push the button. The other song started. This thing's getting wiggly. I don't know what's going on with that. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It is cold outside. I don't know if you guys noticed. It got cold outside. Boy howdy, apparently winter is here a bit early. Winter is not supposed to be here for another 3 weeks, right? When the winter solstice happens? Or when does winter officially start? I thought it was December 20 something. When does winter officially start? I can't even tell you. Winter first day. Yeah, the 21st, the solstice, right? That's the first day of winter, correct? Yeah, okay. It's still fall, but it feels like freaking winter. This morning it was 28 degrees Celsius and thick, icy fog. What? It was foggy this morning and cold. It has warmed up to a balmy 39 degrees. a boisterous, strong, temperate 39 degrees. So I'm going to be wearing all of the jackets. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be wearing all the jackets forever now. Until deep into 2025, I'm going to be wearing all the jackets all the time because it's freaking cold outside, you know? Yeah. Woo. Skog Shrimp and stuff. What's up, buddy? 10,000 toys, and she still prefers literal trash. Why are kids like this? Kids and cats and dogs, and they're all kind of the same. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's happening. They are they find joy in the garbage, you know? They're little trash monsters. And they love it. They love it so much. They love the trash. Hold on, I'm getting weird notifications. Okay, let's turn that. Okay, turn the notifications. We got the notifications off. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Kids, cats, puppies, they all like the trash. They don't want the toys. They don't want the actual toys that you spent money on. They just want the box that it came in. And why is that the case? I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling it's texture based, right? Like I think it just boils down to that like they enjoy the texture of cardboard. I think that must be it, right? It's got to be that. It's probably just a texture thing. I don't know. But it is that's an ongoing theme that I think all parents will learn, that they will get inside the boxes. But one recommendation I have for you, new parents out there, anybody who's a new parent, you got a kid that's up to about the age of 8, collect the Amazon boxes and get paint and the big crayons. Hold on, let me find these big kid crayons. They're crayons, but they're large. Kids large crayons. I don't know. I ordered some a while ago, so it probably should show up. Yeah, these ones right here. These crayons. And guys, I'm going to share an Amazon link because it's fucking Amazon Cyber Monday, whatever the shit it is. And we're an Amazon affiliate, so if you go and buy a bunch of shit off Amazon like you were going to, just go through our link first and we get a commission. Speaking of commissions, we should probably check on last month's commissions and see how well we did. I think it was like $4 probably. We'll see. We'll take a look. Where the hell's my there it is. There it is. We got to reload last month because it's December now. Nobody's ordered anything in December, so we don't know. Custom date range. Last month. Okay, custom date range. Go back. There. We'll just do that. There we go. Oh, it was $4, guys. $4.23. We did wonderful. We sold a ton of Amazon shit. We didn't sell anything on Amazon. We didn't do nothing. We didn't do nothing last month. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So, well, oh well. I guess if you're going to go buy a bunch of crap like crayons, do that. My point, for those of you that don't like clicking on links, we'll get the source here. I'm going straight to the source for you. This is what I shared. Okay, this right here. These giant crayons. Okay, change the picture. These giant crayons. Then take these crayons, give them to them inside the box. They insist on playing inside the box. Give them something to do inside the box. Color the inside of the box. Go wild. You don't necessarily have to buy this exact brand of crayons. I don't care. Buy whatever crayons you want. But give them crayons. Don't try the paints. Paints are a bad choice. We tried that once. It's not a great choice to have paint inside a cardboard box. Next thing you know, it's leaking out of the box, and that's a problem. But when you give them the box, you give them something to do inside the box. Color the box up, go all crazy with it, and it's hours of entertainment. Then eventually, when they go to bed, you can throw away the box, recycle it, and then leave the toy out that you bought them, and then they will be able to play with the toy, right? I think once they got it out of their system. Hold on, I got a message here I got to read. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So whoever is on our Discord, I'm going to open up the green room. I'm going to join the green room as per normal in case anybody wants to call in. How do you get access to the Discord? You can go on Patreon. You can go on YouTube, become a member on YouTube. You can do whatever you want. Should we gift some memberships today? We should probably gift some memberships, right? Because it's the beginning of the month. We should do that. We should probably do that like before the show starts, but it's kind of more fun to do it. It's kind of more fun to do it like during the show. There we go. We gifted 5 subs, and now we can find out who's been watching the channel the most. Branton Lightcap, Temperate Tanks, Pete Berlinski, Pipex, and Cow NSU. Cownsu? I don't know what that means. And the bot just thanked me for gifting 5 memberships. The unsolicited Fish Fam link bot that just shows up. The Fish Fam link bot is just doing shit today. What up? But you can always hit the like button for free, the subscribe. But if you're a Bezos type character, you should probably donate heavily to the show. Oh, I should share the Patreon. That's a good point. That's a valid point. I have to figure out where my Patreon page is. It's in here somewhere. Your Google Workspace subscription. Oh, that's funny. Okay. We'll go ahead and close that. Where the fuck is my Patreon? Oh, here it is. It's over here. But we have to share the Patreon so that people can go to it. It is https://www.patreon.com/Joel C. Should I share the link so people can go there and become a patron? I don't know. They probably won't. But I'll do it anyhow. There you go. I don't know why that extra C is in there. I don't know. Does it work? Yeah, it takes you to it. So either way, I don't know why that extra C is in there, but it's definitely not the thing. Buh. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. We did all the things. It is Monday the 2nd. Cold. It's already cold December out here. I have a vibe. I was looking at the National Weather Service expectation for this winter, and it was saying that we're going to have lower than usual temperatures and higher than usual precipitation. So I'm expecting some decent snow events this year. We'll see if the snow events come through for us. We'll see if they come through or not. We'll find out. I wrapped a stuffed animal in a cracker box for a girlfriend's niece one Christmas, only to make her cry because there were no crackers in the box. That's legit. I would say I almost would probably have the same kind of reaction. Is to maybe have a little cry because there weren't any animal crackers in the cracker box. Though I don't know, I'm not like super partial on the animal crackers. Although those animal cookies with the weird white and pink frosting, I actually had some of those the other day because I do have a young tyke running around here, and not so bad. I'm probably gonna eat some more of hers when she's not looking. I'm gonna eat some more of the cookies that are for the kid. But you know how that goes when you're the dad. You just get to do the dad tax. We did get a $5 super chat today. It says teal was the official color of the 1990s and a crime on most cars of the era. You know what? I didn't see very many teal cars in the 90s, to be honest with you, but maybe I wasn't looking for them. I definitely saw a lot of teal outfits. I saw a lot of people wearing teal like that was a normal thing. I should probably find some pictures of me from the 90s. I dressed like a punk rock grandpa. In the 90s. That's how I dressed. I shopped at Value Village, Salvation Army, whatever thrift store was around. I shopped there. I would find old crazy grandpa threads and rock that stuff. And it sounds like I'm giving a shout out to Macklemore or something, but I was doing that. That was the 90s for me. Go shopping at the thrift store because there was stuff in the thrift store back then. Nowadays, there's really not a lot of good stuff at the thrift store as opposed to back then. There just was more. I've been to the thrift stores recently because we donate there / go there sometimes. And there's really just not the selection. There's just not the selection that there used to be. You used to be able to go to the thrift store and find like a strong classic 70s tuxedo, 60s tuxedo, 50s tuxedo. You could find some tuxedos and just go out on the town rocking a tuxedo over the weekend if you wanted to. And I did that liberally. And people just could not understand the concept that, they'd always ask you, what's going on? Why are you wearing a tuxedo? And you're like, I'm wearing clothes, bro, I don't want the weather to get on my skin. I'm wearing clothes instead of going buck naked around town. Definitely don't want the cops called on you either because you get your bird out. You know what I mean? Shared to an actual aquascaping group this week. Did you share this live stream to an aquascaping group? Wonderful. They're all going to be super mad that I'm not immediately talking about a fish tank the moment they come in here. So, good luck. Good luck. If you share to aquascaping groups, the fish tank people come in and they go like, he's not talking about treating the one thing that's I'm thinking about in my mind, and then they just leave. So we'll see a lot of that today. We'll see a lot of people come in. They won't chat. They won't say anything in the chat, and then they'll just leave because I'm not like, hey, this substrate's better than this other substrate, and it's kinkier. This substrate's super kinky. You know what I mean? And they'll just leave, right? So, it is what it is. My son is 12 and is all about hitting the thrift stores in nicer cities. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good point, D-Rock. Generally, the thrift stores in the cities are almost better than the thrift stores out in the middle of nowhere. I've compared the two, especially from time to time. I've definitely compared the two, and there's a lot more limited selection out in the boonies, as it were. Out in the deep dark. When you're out in the deep dark out there, a lot less of a selection. You know, one of the problems is, like, when you get onto live stream exclusively about fish tanks, like, I could just tell you about my fish tank. Like, hey, it's got a lot of plants in it, and a puffer fish in there who's been eating frozen food for probably too long. He needs to eat some live food one of these days. But none of the stores around me actually sell pest snails. They just treat everything with a ton of water treatment, and it just kills everything in the tanks. So you're like, hey, you guys got any snails? And they're like, oh, no, we don't have any snails. We don't have any snails, bud. You know, and you're like, yeah, but that's what I'm here for. I wanted to get some snails so I could feed them to... He's down there in the bushes. He's there he is. He's swimming. He's swimming like a little fish. He's swimming like a little puffer fish, and he's eating some frozen krill, I think. I don't know. I gave him some frozen food. That's the reason why this tank continues to have algae, is because I keep having to feed frozen food. Eventually, I'll get back to having thousands of snails and be able to keep the population alive. Currently, I was unable to keep the population alive. He ate all of the ones out of the tank like a maniac. And slowly, the ones in the sump just sort of disappeared. Like, they weren't breeding enough down there. And most of them disappeared. So, haven't really had a selection for him in a while. He's been eating frozen food, and that is the cause of the algae in this aquarium. So if you want to have less algae in your aquarium, do more water changes. Because I don't really do water changes on that tank. As much as I would like to tell you and come on the internet and be like, I do my water change every week, blah, blah, blah. I don't. Not on this tank. I'm just letting it rock, letting it rip, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. And all these plants need excessive trimming, which will probably happen tomorrow night or Wednesday night or something like that, when I have kind of downtime and no meetings or any kind of bullshit that I got to do. I'll get them all trimmed back. As you can see, they're up to the top of the water and cresting and growing over, and that ain't great. As it starts to block out the light, and it starts to starve out the rest of the plants, and you don't want that. I don't know if you guys know this, but plants photosynthesize in order to grow. Photosynthesis is a very important part of plant growth, and if you literally have something in the way of the light getting there so that they can photosynthesize, they stop growing. It's just a fucking bizarro town, right? Like, it's super complicated, you know? It's a super complicated thing. Is contrasoil controversial? I don't think so. I just didn't really like contrasoil personally. I just didn't like it all that much. Like, for the cost and the amount that you would get, and then the fact that that there really isn't like as much to it, realistically, I guess, in my opinion. But my opinion could be changed. But it's just a fluorite, isn't it? Oh, and the guy.
Hey there, guys. Chris here, BRS Fresh. In today's video, I want to talk about UNS contrasoil.
Oh, Chris is a BRS Fresh guy now. Okay, well, that's cool. I love it. I love how people get hired by these companies. I love that. I love seeing that. I wonder if he was hired or not hired. I don't know. I guess we'll find out someday. Uh-oh. People aren't commenting anymore, so I don't know what to talk about anymore. I guess we'll talk about the topics of the stream, I guess. Who else said hi? Joel G said it was searing hot in New Zealand. Well, it's your summertime, so it should be hot, right? Or is it too early for it to be hot? I guess your summer would start December 21st, right? So it's probably just a hot spring. Are you having a hot spring? Very cute. Well, I called that one. Here he comes. And he brought a dog, so mine are going nuts. Who's coming? Of course, just as this starts, the person delivering meds and gas is going to show up. Oh, well. Here in spirit for the first half. Oh, so your delivery guy showed up and he has dogs? Nice. The gas man brought his dogs. 400 degrees. I like it. You could cook a nice turkey. You could cook a nice turkey for Christmas there. December 1st, it starts, and it is hot. Yeah, I would imagine it's probably pretty hot down there because you guys are having summertime, and it's fucking frozen here. New Zealand weather. I want to go to New Zealand and just not book a return flight. Is that legal? I don't think that's legal, right? Where's a cool place in New Zealand? Christchurch? It says it's only 68 degrees. Hornby? Is Hornby? It says it's only 68 degrees. Let's go on the map here. Looks like you're using an ad blocker. Yeah, that's right. Get fucked. I don't want to read your stupid ads. Christchurch is down south. Well, actually, Christchurch is kind of in the middle. How do you say Invercargill? Cargill. I know how to say Dunedin, right? No, I'm probably saying it wrong. What's the weather here? Show me the weather. It's only showing me the weather and what I have the map here. Nah, Christchurch is miles away. Where are you at? Wellington? Wellington, Waipura, Ashburton, Timaru, Lake Tekapo. I want to go to Lake Tekapo. Can I go there? I live in Invercargill. Invercargill. Is that right? I'm not saying it right. Show me the weather. Why won't it show me the weather? Close that. What's the weather here? What the fuck? I guess they're already giving up on the Weather Channel. Okay. It says it's 19. 19 degrees. Whatever that is. 68? 69. Anybody? Anybody? I tried to go to the map, but the map didn't work. We want the weather map, New Zealand. Maybe AccuWeather works better? Hey guys, coming up with AccuWeather. Oh, it looks like you got some rain. Some rain blowing in. I don't know what all that shit is. What's all that shit? Why can't I click on a city? Just click on a city like an adult website. Not an adult website. You know what I mean, right? Like an adult, comma, website. I can't click on any cities. Hurricane tracker? Is there a hurricane coming? I don't know. I can tell you AccuWeather doesn't work. Maybe this one? Whoa. Weather forecast. Okay, let's see. Thursday, it's going to be a high of 29. Oh, shit, you guys are going to be roasting in Hawke's Bay. Hastings. Ooh, it's going to be a heater in Hastings. Can I scroll down? Do I have the scrolling ability? So you live down south. It can't be too hot down there, right? What the hell is 25 degrees Celsius? Feels like 22. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I can't figure out the weather in New Zealand. The internet's just too difficult for me to manage. I don't know. It's too much. It's just too much for me to handle, I guess. It's chilly here in Florida. Not cold, but shorts are not an option for more than a quick trip to the trash can and such. Not like jacket cold yet. All right, what the hell's the weather in Florida? U.S. weather map. Does the U.S. one work? Why is it doing this? I'm telling you, I don't know how to use the internet anymore. 24-hour temperature range. There it is. Hey. Yeah, I don't know how to use the internet anymore. That's fucking broken. Oh, here we go. This gives us an idea here. No, I don't want to turn off my ad blocker. Let's see. So it's chilly but not super cold on the East Coast. Same as here. Chilly, cold. Says Seattle a high of 43. San Francisco a high of 63. LA 73. Phoenix. Phoenix 81. Looks like Phoenix is the warmest location today in these United States. But I can't see Hawaii, so we don't know what the hell's going on in Hawaii. Miami, a high of 74. Jacksonville's a high of 61. You could wear shorts in 61. That's fine. Tampa, 65. It's not too cold in Florida. You're fine. Now, Minneapolis, on the other hand, Buffalo, it's fucking freezing cold. Have I been to Africa? No, I have not been to Africa. My apologies. I'm sorry. I haven't been to Africa yet. I haven't had a solid reason to go to Africa yet, or the money. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Money's tight. Money is tight right now, so I wouldn't even think about going to Africa. .28 Celsius equals 82 Fahrenheit. Fahrenhoozels. Yeah, so are you guys worried that it's going to be 26 Celsius out? It's 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 2 Celsius or something last night. That's how cold it was with fog. It's just thick fog. It's crazy. I thought that the fog would freeze and fall to the ground, but this doesn't make any sense. We live in the year 2024, right? Join as a channel member for exclusive benefits and to help support the channel. Actually, yeah, I mean, that's reality. Thanks, bot. The bot's helping. The bot's helping remind people. We lost patrons. We got to update the patrons. We got to update them. We got to update the numbers. Yeah, 118. We're down to 118. Oh, my God. $1.8. There we go. We'll update our numbers. There we go. I've never been to Africa either. Yeah, I've never gone. It's like, would be wonderful to go. But to be honest with you, like, there are other places that I want to go that will either cost less money or something that costs the same amount of money, I'd rather go do. Right? I have many more places to go in Europe that I want to go to. I definitely want to go to Asia at some point. I want to go to Vietnam. I want to go to Japan. It would be nice to go to China and go do stuff. I don't know how well the relations are going to continue with the likes of the dipshit entering the White House. I don't know how well that's going to go, but like Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Sri Lanka. I want to go to Sri Lanka at some point. You know, there's a list. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to Australia. Yeah, I mean the list is lengthy of places I want to go. Like I've been to Spain, but I haven't been to Portugal. I want to go to Portugal. You know, I caught COVID in Spain. Why not go catch COVID in Portugal? I want to go to Portugal real bad. I hear there's towns there you could buy. Is there like cities? There's old towns that you could buy. You could buy in on an old town and try and rejuvenate it single-handedly, I guess. I know a dude, you know? I know a guy, you know? I know a guy. But of course that honestly sounds like a win the lottery type thing at this point, really, you know? Can you hear that? I'm trying to mix this paint because I have to paint something black after the show. Welcome to the shake weight version of the show. This is the shake weight time. And this is Stuart Semple, the Black 3.0, the Blackest Black. The Blackest Black paint. And it does make things pretty darn black. You know what I'm saying? Joel G says, I need to travel again sometime soon. Money is tight, though. Yes, that is ultimately the problem, right? Buy an entire town and farm avocados, the millennial dream. I would love to purchase a farm. That is on my to-do list, and we are 0 steps closer to buying a farm than we are to doing other things. Like, we're not closer to buying a farm. We're further from buying a farm, I think, realistically. Yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. I think we're farther from buying a farm than we were before, but that's how life works sometimes. Sometimes you go forward, sometimes you go back. But I'm happy to say that we did have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I was able to see we were going to host Thanksgiving here at our house. You know, cook a turkey, make the stuffing, do all the stuff, all the fixins, put all the things out, do all that stuff. And my aunt said, hey, we're cooking a big dinner. Do you guys want to come? And we said, yes. We immediately said, yes. We're going to do that. And my cousin has a kid that is 1 year younger than our daughter, and they get along quite well. These are the only little kids in the family. We have some big kids in the family that are grown. You know, you're like, hey, that guy over there, that's a grown man. He's 25. You know, and so there's 2 little kids, and they get along quite well. And so it was like, oh yeah, we'll come right up there. We'll be there. Unfortunately, they came down with a sickness, so they weren't there. But my aunt, uncle, my mom, her husband, the girls were there. One of my other cousins was there. You know, there's enough people to have a Thanksgiving, as it were. So it worked out just fine. Wonderful dinner. Good to see everybody. And commiserate on the year. Talk about the year. How's the year gone? You know, all of that jazz that you normally talk about with your family. Yeah, it was fine. It was totally fine. It was totally chill. And then our daughter, went to go hang out with Grandma and Grandpa because myself and Vicky had a bunch of work to do, personal work. We had personal work to do. We had to move equipment around. We had to go pick up and repair a trailer. We had to rewire the trailer. We had to take the deck off of it. It's like a cargo trailer. And we had to get it moved from one location to another location safely. We rewired the whole trailer, and the brake light and left turn signal didn't work. So we took that all apart and then realized that somewhere in the wiring harness was fucked. And I found one location, I rewired that, and then it still was fucked. It didn't work. So we said screw it and went and grabbed some cheap magnetic turn signals, brake signals. You know what I'm talking about? As a matter of fact, I got to find some on Amazon so I can share the link for you. Magnetic turn signals temporary. So I didn't have any trailer brakes because rewiring the trailer brakes, that didn't work. They did not do the working, as it were. I mean, hell, these might be the exact crappy ones that we bought. These might be them. If you guys are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, just remember, if you go over to Amazon and you buy a bunch of shit, we're Amazon affiliate. Oh my God, we'll get a commission. Okay, there we go. You guys can look at those if you want. But to drive the big trailer around with no brakes on it, the brakes were all disconnected. Anyhow, had to replace 2 of the tires. One of the wheels was bad and the wrong size. So we took that one off. I had to put the wheels on it and the tires on it. Replaced them, drove it around, took it out to the property in the pitch black darkness. Got it parked. Who knows where the hell it's parked? It's parked in a spot. I backed it into a spot that is grass, and I parked it. And I said, "Well, that's fine. It's pitch black out here. I'm not going any deeper into nondescript parking spots, interpretive parking spots. We'll call them interpretive parking spots. Got it parked, got it put away, and it's good. We don't have to worry about it until we decide to do what we're going to do with it. So the reason that we're moving that trailer, it's a flat cargo trailer, and it is going to be converted into a mobile bathroom is what it's going to be turned into. It's going to be turned into a mobile bathroom. And Vicky wants it to have a shower also. Not only does she want it to have a toilet, but she wants it to have a shower also. So we'll see how that project ever pans out. I don't know if that project is ever going to happen. But that's Vicky's plan. That's Vicky's plan with that trailer. I had planned to get that trailer to use it as a cargo trailer, but Vicky changed the plan, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. I still have my little cargo trailer, and we'll just keep using that one in the interim. And then I believe we're going to have a different covered cargo trailer that won't be ours, but it'll be parked here so I can use it. It'll be stored here, and then I can use it whenever I need to. So it all works out in the end, you know, when you come down to what do you call that? Compromise. You come down to it. Come up and then you come down into a compromise type situation, and then everybody compromises and it works out, and then everybody's happy, and hopefully that's where we land with that trailer ass situation. But I do hope to build that project, but like I said, I don't know if that project will ever come to the top of the list of priorities. I have my doubts. I have my doubts that we'll ever get there. I have my doubts that we'll ever get to that project. But you do never know. You never know how things work out. And my interpretation would be to get a composting toilet in it, and then just run a shower that just runs to a gray water send a gray water pipe down the way into the culvert, and that most likely will be what shakes out of that situation, I'd guess, but we'll see. Oh, you bless the rains down in Africa. I see it. I see it. I see it as sung by Toto. How does that intro go? How does that intro go? Guys, we have too many fucking windows open. We got to close some of these windows. We got to get better at closing some of these windows. We don't need all of these windows open. This is a crazy amount of windows, and I'm never going to look at that, so we might as well just get rid of it. What's this? What's this? I'll look at that one. Okay. Adobe. We don't need that. Hello?
Do. That's how the intro goes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sorry, that needed to be an audio Jeopardy question. So that's a good number. 3857.
Close that. Close that. We gotta close all this shit. We have a bunch of shit open. Like a Pinterest? We don't need a Pinterest open.
Okay.
We're using up too much memory.
That's why your CPU gets going nutty. Because, and even when you only have 3 windows open, if you look in your taskbar, it will tell you that Google Chrome has like 25 open. You're like, what the fuck? Because it counts each extension.
I have a lot open, and I need to update. I need to update my browser. It's red now. It says you desperately need to update. Which means I'm probably getting hacked as we speak. Somebody's hacking, you know? They're probably hacking into the mainframe, and they're going to try and...
No, they're not.
They're going to try and grizzle with the flip-flop, if you know what I mean.
And how long are you going to be using Chrome anyway? Because once the DOJ buys it, will you move on to something new and exciting, or will you...
I use Opera most of the time.
Okay, that's fair. You're not a DuckDuckGo person?
No, I'm not a libertarian retard.
I did find it annoying.
Yeah.
I miss the old Firefox.
Are you sure you've read your Ayn Rand this week before we do a search for you? What? Why is it asking me about that?
Right?
Are you sure?
I have used the pages in the composting toilet.
Does
that count?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you want to do that right now? It would be like, are you sure? How do you think about Rand Paul before we do that search for you? Do you think Rand Paul's smart? And you're all, no, and it just shuts off. Oh,
like your no.
No search
we are
for
not
you.
The default browser.
Oh, we have to do our vibrator ad. Do we even have? Right. Do we even know? Hey, so if you guys don't know, Joe Rogan always did the fleshlight. Well, we're doing vibrators. Hold on, we gotta look one up. Vibrator.
I didn't realize this was an actual new segment. I'll have to make note.
We forgot to do the vibrator segment. You reminded me.
Well, at least I now know my place in the live stream hierarchy. It's Rebecca, the vibrator reminder.
I'm in books. Oops. Hold on. We need to get out of the books. Stop searching for books.
Yeah, that's too highbrow. Vibrators, much better.
There's apparently books about them, which is interesting.
Okay. I can see that.
All right, hold on. Do we have a... All right, hold on. The fucking Amazon search gets crazier. Day by day, it gets crazier and crazier. Like, you can't share that. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't put that on the internet. Okay, here we go. Here's our vibrator segment. If you guys don't know, Joe Rogan constantly advertised the Fleshlight, which is a It's a
Male
pocket pussy.
masturbatory tool.
It's a masturbatory device for men. We're sharing the masturbatory device for women. This one comes in at $16.99. I feel like it says it's waterproof, which is nice. And
That's certainly helpful.
that is helpful. You can A, wash it off, B, use it in the shower if you feel like that's something that you like doing. You got to massage your neck, whatever you got to do. So there we go. That's our segment of the day. So go in through that link and buy all the things that vibrate your body parts. There we go. That's the nicest way to put it. There.
That is correct.
And we get Amazon affiliate credit for advertising. Doesn't change your price. Just imagine that. You could buy a vibrator and it doesn't change your price, and it kicks your old boy 50 cents over here. There we go.
Right. And he won't even know who did it unless you fess up on your own.
Yeah, I won't even know. You're anonymized. You're anonymized, so it's all good. If I see stuff like that come up on my thing, like I've said this before, it brings a little bit of joy into my heart. Because I know somebody out there is having a good time. That's all.
That's right.
I don't need to know specifics or any of that kind of stuff. There's plenty of specifics that already exist on the internet.
You just need to know that there is a smile somewhere in relation to your name. Hi, Patches.
It's just nice to know that somebody out there is smiling and having a good time.
Oh, you're gonna mess up the hair with the hood now. Be careful.
It don't matter, man. This whole thing. This whole thing. Toto was touring. I didn't know where they are, but they're not in Kansas anymore. Goddamn. But that's a good. Thanks, Zip. It's a good one. It's strong. I like it. Yeah, Joel G. As far as like the buy the farm thing, I want to buy a farm. But the question is like, what kind of farming do I want to do? And I think realistically, after meeting Tim and becoming friends with him and kind of looking at his sort of business and his business strategy, I feel like he's really on point with a lot of what he's doing, right? He's doing the apiary, which is a bee business, right? So he's doing all the stuff around the bee business. A big portion of the bee business is driving the hives down to California and pollinating over now, right? And getting the hives down there now, having them in place so that when spring comes around, they pollinate the shit out of everything, and their population goes insane. The bees reproduce like crazy. So he overwinters most of his hives down in California. So the pollinating business is one side of it. He's also raising cattle and doing beef. And those are kind of the two things that he's focusing on. He also supplies like bee stuff, so hives and the honey extractors and wax and all sorts of things. So I feel like he's doing a great bit of business, but he's also not lording over like a whole entire. He's not even attempting to like take over whole segments of the world. Does that make sense? Like he's just doing business, operating, and not going completely off the fucking deep end. Trying to take out competitors and do all sorts of insane shit. He's being a regular guy. He's being helpful, and he's being a part of the community. And I'm like, that's what I try to do, pretty much every day. I don't do volunteer shit every day, but I try to do some kind of volunteer thing for the community every week. Sometimes that's bi-weekly. Sometimes it's every 3 weeks, something like that, just depending on what is going on. What somebody needs help with, like we're in contact with all of our neighbors and stuff like that. So I feel like moving the apiary up to a bigger apiary this next year is probably our first step towards doing that. One of our hives died. One of our hives was poisoned by something. We don't know. We don't know what it was. But it's unfortunate. but it just happens. It just happens to bees. They don't all make it. That's why they come springtime, they produce so many queens. They split. They continue to repopulate because they're doing the numbers game. So we did lose one of our hives, which is really sucks, and we're personally affected. Like, fuck, one of our beautiful hives died. They all died off, but it is just a fact of how things work sometimes. So we're working on cleaning that up. We're also going to relocate the apiary. I told you guys a couple live streams ago that we're going to be building a different setup because the current setup is like reasonable, but definitely far from perfect. So we are going to build something that's more reasonable and probably still far from perfect, but more usable, more user-friendly, and more hives. So our goal this next year, we have our one hive that's overwintering. Not great that we only have one, but hey, one's better than zero. So our goal next year will be to have 8. So our goal is to have 8 hives next year, and then see where we're at with 8. 8 should be plenty for the stuff, for the sort of really small scale stuff that we're trying to do, and also work out the kinks with our management and our scheduling and what it is that we're doing with the apiary exactly. So that should be good for next year. Although Tim said guys should probably do 15, but I feel like the jump from 2 to 8 is going to be plenty for this next year. And he eventually did agree that, like, yeah, 8's probably fine. But he likes to go big. He's got 4,000 hives, so I can understand to him there's basically zero difference between 8 and 15, so you might as well do 15. For us, we're scaling up. So we think 8's probably a better number for us to manage realistically. So we're hoping next year will be our first real honey harvest. See how that works out. Depending on how things go. We did harvest some honey this year. We only harvested enough just for the family, for just us here, and we'll probably run out by springtime. So we did. All we harvested was 3 quart jars, the big jars, and then like 2 little jars. I already have eaten one of the quarts of honey. Yeah,
Tasty stuff.
we did have 12 chickens going through this year. One of them died of natural causes, just old. One of them was old and died, and then one of them had to be put down. So, but they were both old and they weren't laying anymore. So it was like, they've kind of lived their dream. We still have 2 of the original West Seattle chickens, those Dominiques. We still have those. So they're 10 years old, kicking around.
Wow.
So we take care of our chickens as well as we can. Some of them live to be 10, obviously, but some of them die. And but the Americanas are doing quite well. And our thought isn't to go very much past that 12 number. Like, we definitely don't want more chickens, but we do need to start cycling our layers out more. Like, once they stop laying, we really need to just let them run a course somewhere else. So we have a tentative plan that I don't necessarily want to break loose on the population, but at some point maybe I'll tell you what we're doing with them.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it up. We'll keep it up with the honey. We'll keep it up with the chickens. And I don't think we have very much as far as an expansion here, as far as animals and insects and that kind of stuff, other than the fish tanks, obviously. But this next year, coming springtime, we should have, 5, 9, 12. I don't know. Don't quote me on this number. Like 22 raised beds that we'll be doing. I've got some of them built. And I have all of them half built, if that makes sense. So, we'll definitely be getting those. Be definitely getting those this springtime, and depending on what goes on with YouTube, I don't know. It really depends on you know, how many people we have like following the channel or whatever, if we're really going to do farm content or not. I've mentioned this a million times before. It's the editing side of it. It's not even so much the make the video, film the video, record the video, that kind of stuff. It's the editing side that I get fucked on. I just don't have time to do it. And I wish that I did, but I don't. So it just works out the way that it works out. And, you know, people have asked in the past, how do we do that? And it's like, oh, well, we got to make this into a job. And in order to do that, like, I need to make enough money doing this to edit on a regular basis and constantly be in the, like, I got to edit phase. And personally, as in the title here, I'm almost at the point of I'm 50-50 right now on just going down to the Union Hall and being like, it's my time. I'm just going to stay here and work at the Union Hall. Right. We're about 50-50 on doing that at this point. So we'll see how things go over the next couple months. What's that?
Even over and above having your own company?
I'll just close it and say, fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore.
Okay.
And just go to work. And just go to work every day, because that's the reality of that union is going to be, you know, 6-7 days a week all the time. It's just basically how it works for those guys. So that'll be the thing. And then people will constantly be like, where'd you go? And I'll be like, I
need to
over
pay
here.
bills.
I don't know. What do you want? You know, like I'll be like, yeah, I tried it. It didn't work. It sort of worked for a while, and then COVID came, and then it didn't work, and then I limped it along, and it still didn't work. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm 50-50 on just going down to the hall and being like, yep, here's all my shit. When do you want me to start? Because I've talked to them a few times, and they definitely are like, yeah, we will bring you in right away. So, yeah, like I said, I'm 50-50 on that right now. So we'll see. It's sort of a next couple months thing, and then figure it out. I would say do it on a second channel for monetization reasons. People say that, you know, they say, oh, just start another channel because, you know, only the people want to be there for the content, right? Only the people want to be there for the content, and the algorithm won't feed up the content. I don't care. I don't want to play the game, and I don't want to have 16 fucking YouTube channels. I don't. And I don't have time to edit them, even if I did, right? So if I make the content, I'm going to put it on this channel. I don't want to put it on any of my other stupid channels. I don't even want to answer comments on those channels, right? Like, it's just, I don't want to have 5 different YouTube channels that are all struggling to make $300 a month and go negative in money all the time, right? Like, I don't want to do that. Right. You know, heaven forbid. And people will be like, and I've heard this a million times before, like, people will be like, oh, you fucking greedy bastard. Like, I would kill somebody to make fucking the $500 a month off my YouTube channel or whatever. It's like, okay, then go kill someone, I guess. I don't know. Like, what the fuck kind of bullshit comment is that supposed to be? Like, you know, what? You know? And, you know, it's one of those things that, like, look, my bills are more than $500 a month. I guess if you live in fucking Tennessee in a broken down old trailer and don't have any bills because you're just sucking up fucking Medicare and you're living off fucking food stamps and being a piece of shit living in a trailer, like, hey man, all the more power to you to live off your $500 a month YouTube channel. Cool. I don't have that. I don't live that lifestyle, and I'm not doing that. You know, I posted in the chat earlier, I've been sober for 3,857 days. I made a decision 3,858 days ago, 7 days ago. I don't know how that works. One of those days, that many days ago, I made a decision, like, I'm not going to fucking do that shit anymore, and I'm not going to, you know, just be like a homeless fucking drug addict, you know. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to do that. So I'm not going to, you know.
Yep.
I still chew my gum though. I still chew my nicotine gum. So, you know, it is what it is.
Some addictions we do not lose.
Yeah, so this is sort of the future of the content segment of the title. Is that I have a ton of shit recorded. Every time I try to edit, I'll start editing something. I'll start getting in the vibe of working on it, and I will invariably get pulled away because of bath time, some kind of emergency, some kind of thing. You know, the next 2 days I work out in the field, so I won't be able to be here and edit. And by the time I get home, that's not going to happen. And yeah, it just has been a never-ending cavalcade of that. And then by the time I come back to edit the thing, I don't even know what the fuck is going on anymore. And that's just like the nature of editing. Like, you have to sit down and do it and then get it done to a point where it is a cohesive thing. And I've just not really found myself to be in the position to wildly edit this stuff over and over and over again to have 3 to 4 videos come out a week, right? Which is really what you need, because it's like, and that's ultimately the big problem, is that like just the amount of content that needs to come out every week forever in order for it to work. It just, and it's sort of disheartening, because it's like, well, if I get one done, it's like the last thing I want to do is really upload it, because I don't have enough uploads for that to even make sense. Does that make sense? Because as you guys have noticed, and I've pointed it out in the past, that when you have singular videos just kind of popped out every couple of weeks, they just disappear into the ether, realistically. So, yeah.
Right. You don't get a consistent return on people returning.
And they will also do that on a new channel too. A new channel,
right.
You'll get 5 views and it'll disappear, and it'll never get a view ever again. You know, unless you have like an ability to market it. Ridiculous.
Right. And if you have that, you're not counting on YouTube profits to get going.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that, like, you know, if you have somebody sponsoring you or whatever, or if you're just posting content just for the 5 views, like, that's great, you know. But I can't afford to sink fucking 12 hours into making a video and then it getting 5 views, you know. I don't know about you guys, but I can't afford to do that. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the trailer people in Kentucky or whatever can afford to do it, but I can't.
Right. Well, yeah. You don't have the time expense, and they don't have the cash expense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. The tough one. I don't know. I wish I were better at editing. I would offer.
Yeah, it is.
It's just, yeah, you know.
It is what it is. It's just, that's just how it is, you know.
Yeah. Good job, D-Rock.
But, you know, it's the state of media now, is that, like, the internet was like wildly empowering for a lot of people, because it took away the obstruction of being able to like post your content. And some of those people essentially like hit the lottery, right? Like, some of those people, it just took off and it went gangbusters, and they were able to utilize that. Mine like took off like a gremlin, you know? It's like, oh, there goes maybe getting up to speed on the freeway. And wasn't enough to go like, all right, let's do this, you know.
Right.
Bracken says chicken broth is what I'm hearing. Yeah, the old chickens, you can cook them down into stock and then turn them into dog food if you want to pluck them down and whatnot. They're definitely not edible. The old egg layers are not really edible in a way that you would expect a chicken to taste. Modern day people would not expect that tough, stringy, old chicken It's not very great. It's not very good. And so yeah, as far as the old chickens go, like you definitely don't really want to be turning them into food. It just doesn't. It's not going to work out. It's basically the easy way to explain it. It's not going to work out. You're not going to be pleased by the chicken that you're eating. So those old chickens, like if you are going to cook them down, I would have the expectation that you will make some stock out of it. But realistically, the stock probably half as good, right?
Right.
But then just plan on using the chicken as dog food would be the best direction I could advise people to go in. Would just be to plan to use those old chickens. If you're going to cook them, turn them into dog food. It's going to be the best route. They don't. Not only are they stringy and tough, they also taste not great.
Yeah. Yeah. They taste like every hard knock they've been through in the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also, you find the weirdest things in chickens when you butcher older ones. Things that you're like, yeah, only dogs, not people.
Yeah, a lot of bizarro world in those old birds going on. Especially when they have stuff like fly strike and things like that going on. You know, you're like, oh, I don't want to be eating that.
Right.
Although
I don't know.
You'd have to be a really special kind of person to find that to be appetizing, but I don't know. Maybe one of them is watching right now and they're very excited and they're going to go for it. Who knows?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Like the people that are that love corn smut. I'm like, I'm sure it's a delicacy to someone, but I am not that someone. Can't do it.
Corn smut? What are you talking about?
Corn smut is a fungus that grows on corn that is a delicacy.
Oh, yeah.
It's nasty. I'm not a fan. But there you have it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing.
No. So, out of curiosity, were you to go down and sign on with the Union Boys, what do you think you would do to express your creativity? Because while I am sure that, YouTube would become largely a thing of the past, you are definitely not someone that I see as just sitting still and not doing something.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
The wife is texting me.
Understood.
She says the trailer tires are 14 inchers. And I said, oh, cool. And she's heading off to Girl Scouts.
Strap those brownies to the trailer. Don't do that. That would be bad. Amusing, possibly. He said, strap those brownies to the trailer. I used to threaten to strap my daughter to the front bumper of the car like a deer if she didn't stop whatever was annoying me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't believe it either, but she liked the idea.
I don't think you're going to do that. I don't think you're going to do that. I don't think you would do that.
No.
The kid would die,
Well, I mean, if I hit something, she would certainly get covered with bugs.
I mean, if you're the kind of person that's going to strap a kid to the
front bumper of your car,
you're probably going to crash, is what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I might just be cruel, not a bad driver. I don't know if I'm offended by that or not. No, my question was, what creative outlet do you think you'll go trailing after next? Just go back to painting mostly, or will we be able to find you should you go and re-sign on the Union Hall?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, people would be like, "Oh, well, what are you gonna do?" And it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I mean, like, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, the reality is that like when you go back to doing that, I know the schedule. It's get up at 4:30 so that you're ready by 5, so you can be out at the job site by 6 o'clock because you got to drive there because it's not at your house, right? Unless you got to meet at the hall, and then you got to be at the hall by like 5:30, and then you go out to the job, and then you get done with the job around 6:30, depending.
Right.
Some jobs will quit at like 1 or some shit, like randomly, or 3 o'clock. But normally it's like, hey, we need everybody to stay late, right? Like the idea is that like everyone works an 8-hour day supposedly, right? But every day is stay late. Like everyone stays late.
Right. Because you're always behind. There's always something that didn't go right the first time or didn't arrive before.
So you're always behind, right? Everything's always behind. And then invariably there will be one day of the weekend that is voluntary overtime, right? We need people to volunteer for Saturday or Sunday, one or the other, and then they'll say it's available for the other day, whichever day, right? And the problem is that if you're the guy that just says like, nah, I ain't fucking working on the weekend, like fuck that, then you're the guy
who doesn't get called.
It's not that you don't get called, it's that you get blackballed as the guy who's like, oh, he's not showing up, and it's like, motherfucker, I was here all week. Like, oh yeah, but you weren't here on the weekend, and fucking you don't even know, like you weren't even here over the weekend, right?
Right.
And so you constantly run into that, and then there's a lot of you eventually just get blackballed, like, oh, that guy, he doesn't show up on the weekend, so blah blah blah, like you eventually get blackballed. Like it's just kind of how it works. And then you'll like miss out on jobs occasionally because they're like, oh, well, we only have space for 22 guys and we have 33 or whatever, and so the 11 will be like, well, that guy doesn't show up on the weekend, so we, if this job gets behind, then he won't be able to show up on the behind, and it's like, that kind of shit. And so like there's a lot of like the politicking that you have to do on top of the work, it, like if you don't golf, like if you're somebody who doesn't show up to the golf thing, then it's like, well, he didn't show up to the golf thing, and Steve was telling jokes about fucking the Bob's butthole or whatever, and you're like, come Monday, it's like, oh yeah, you guys did that golf thing. How was that? And then it's like, oh yeah, you weren't there. So there's a lot of like bullshit politicking all the time, but the reality is that you're just gone. You're going to be gone 6, if not 7 days a week all the time. And that's just how it is. Like that's how your life is all the time. So you're going to miss out on the soccer games. You're going to miss out on the Girl Scout stuff. You're going to miss out on the swim things, and you're going to miss out on the this, and you're going to miss out on the that. And you do earn some money. That's
right.
That's the replacement. So you lose out on the life stuff, but you make some money, which, it's like, hey, you want to be American, you got to go out and make dollars. That's the whole point of being American. People say it's like America's about freedom, America's about this, America's about that. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that because it's literally just, did you make money? That's all it is. That's all that it fucking is. Until you're old, and then people start talking about experiences that they should have done. But you really only hear that from the people that have lots of money, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I should have done all this other stuff, right? Because they actually have time to tell you about it. Because all the other old people that don't have any money, they're like, they don't have time to tell you about any of their bullshit because they're busy working at fucking Kmart,
Walmart door greeting.
yeah,
That was
Kmart,
close.
Walmart, and then
McDonald's.
working mornings at McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Making fucking $8 an hour and wondering where they went wrong with their life because they should have spent the entirety of their life making dollars. So then they could, instead of working at McDonald's, they could be complaining about not taking the trip to Egypt or whatever, whatever goofy thing they wanted to do with their life, or like experience and actually know their children, which is hilarious. I know wealthy old people that like don't know their kids at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know those people too. Not
like
very many of them.
Like they know their kids, but they don't know them. Like they know who they are.
Right. Like they can identify them in a crowd.
That's Jeff. That's Jeff, my second son, over there. There he is, right there. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Can point him out in the lineup, but don't ask me what he did yesterday because
Right.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's those of us in the weird in-between phase where, yeah, I know, I get it. That's going to be a tough call because it's not just time away from creativity. That's a lot of time away from family. So.
Yeah, I mean that's ultimately like that's the big issue is that like I don't want to be away from family like all the time and miss every fucking thing. So,
Right.
And that's like I know, and I have enough experience like professionally that like the problem will be is that like I'll get the job, I'll start working the job, then they'll be like, wow, this guy's really adept, he knows what he's doing. So then they're like, let's move him up here, and then I'll get the job, and then I'll have the job, and then they'll be like, well, we got to move this guy up, and we got to move him over here, and just keep calling him in all the time. I've been there a million times, like I know how it works. Oh, that guy's invaluable. We need him here all the time, And
Right.
then invariably, like 2 years in, it's like, dude, I can't come in here anymore. Like this is fucking insane, right? And they're like, I don't understand. What's the problem? It's like, oh, I spent 3,600 hours working last year. Oh, look at this one. I spent 4,400 hours working, which is fucking double time.
Right.
So,
I thought my daughter was 6 and she's 8.
right.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, and that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
The Brandon you don't ever recognize.
Branton Lightcap. I don't know who Branton Lightcap is. I have no idea.
Never seen him before in your life.
Gifted him
Except for
a membership today. Uh-oh. He's going to have a month-long membership.
Of you not knowing who the hell he is.
Yeah, it's almost like it was almost rude now. It's almost rude now because he gifted a membership. But it gifts a membership at random of like whoever's like engaged the most. That's how the gifted memberships work. Whoever's engaged the most with the channel, it just starts at the top and gifts them out. Which is why I was saying when I gifted them, it was like, who's watching the channel the most? So Branton, Temperate Tanks, Pete Berlinski, Pipex, and Crown Sue. I actually don't know who Crown Sue is. No idea.
Doesn't sound familiar at all.
Can we look at their channel?
I don't know.
Go to
Probably.
channel. Do they have any content?
You
We'll
have
find out.
no lack of tabs, I'm sure you can.
They have 1 subscriber and no content. Okay.
Well then, I bet they are their own subscriber.
We can't watch their content because they have none. So
They have none.
they are not having of the content. You know what I mean?
It is a sadness. A sadness, I say.
Sadness Depression Bowl. Yeah.
That sounds like a bad dish at
KFC.
a...
Did you get your
Oh.
Did you get your fuel delivered?
I did. I have fuel and medicine so that I will not remit anyone over the next several weeks.
Shitloads of meds.
Well, not shitloads, but it's a problem being
You heard me.
stuck up
It's
here.
shitloads of meds.
Fine. If it was shitloads of meds, I wouldn't need it delivered. I could create that on my own.
It's bucket loads. It's ass loads.
There you go.
It's a fuck ton.
Ouch. Ass loads just sounds painful.
Some
Fuck
people
ton,
enjoy
that's-
that kind of shit, and they'll pay money for it.
Wrong channel. Speaking of creativity that makes cash, maybe
It's what?
maybe you're just in the wrong topic. I don't know.
Oh, I should be doing. You're saying I should be doing OnlyFans?
Only
then I have to
fins.
work. Then I have to work out all the time.
Who is Corvus? We don't know. It's a question.
The problem is that if I was going to do OnlyFans, I don't have the dong for it. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be so impressive that dudes want to show up and look at it. You know what I mean? And there's like I don't know. It's probably like 5,000 guys on the planet that have that, and most of them are already working already. So you could just look up that content. Most of them, you could just look up that content if you wanted to. So, but like what most people don't realize is like with the porn industry, like so the reason that you need to have a giant wang in the porn industry is it's camera angles. That's the whole reason. It has nothing to do with the fact that like people are deeply enjoying it or whatever, right? Like
You need to be able to get far enough away that you can see what's going on.
No. So so envision this in your mind, like doggy style.
Okay.
But if you actually like watch people in a film when they're doing doggy style, they're actually tilted at this angle, right? So that it's open on one side, right? So if you think there's a butt here and there's a guy here, and they're like, doing this, they're actually tilted open like this, like a door. It's like hinged open, and then they're having sex like this, so that the camera can come in and get the shot.
And get the shot.
If you actually do watch that content and you look at it with that in that vein, right? Like if you look at it that way, you'll start to realize that like every single angle that they're having sex in is actually playing into the being able to have a camera somewhere in there close and whatnot and get the shot. So like that's where that originated from, was like, oh, we need somebody with a bigger dong so that we can get the camera angles. Like nowadays it's not as deeply requisite, like it's not like the biggest requisite, but here's what's funny is that what they have learned is that guys won't watch porn with dudes with like regular dongs. So it's literally like now they're catering to men want to see dudes with huge dongs having sex with women, right? Like that's the whole thing, right? So it has evolved into that, which is just fucking bonkers, right?
It is. That's funny. See, now I didn't know that about the whole angles, camera aspect of things. But you could do like some niche market, like naked aquascaping or partially clothed or whatever, or politics, nude politics, whatever. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, there was the guy that did the cooking. What's his name? Jamie Oliver. Isn't that who it is?
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Jamie Oliver, nude chef. Yeah, there was a time where people were like, you should do the nude chef thing, but Jamie Oliver was the guy that did it. This dude.
Oh, that he's like kind of blocky, redheadish beard.
Yeah, British guy.
Yeah. I've seen him on, I don't remember what, on something. I didn't know what his name was. I just remember what he looks like. But
so if I remember,
I remember a nude newscast that went on was it Britain, somewhere in Europe, where they did the news topless, all the hot.
Yeah, if I remember, he was doing cooking at one point with like an apron on, right?
Right.
And then you could like see his bunsies and stuff like that, but not.
You can't be frying bacon with the.
Not as wang, but there doesn't seem to be any photographic evidence of it on the internet.
Kind of hard to hairnet the genitals,
He's been around a long time, making a whole lot of content. So,
Right.
Or is it just a play on words? I don't know. I swear there was a like him cooking in just aprons or whatever, right? Like
No,
way back in
that's
the
what
day.
I saw with him in a apron. Isn't the
Yeah, I
same
don't know.
guy though.
I don't know, whatever. But people said like, well, why don't you do that back in the day? And I was like, you know, like there's already a British guy doing that. Oh, we're
The
gonna
bare
not. We're gonna
naked
not.
chef. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah, we're about to not meet our Friday stream goal. We had the goal of 10 super chats. We only got one from you, Witchy Cat, and the timer's
know.
ticking down. 4 minutes, 28
I'm
seconds.
an easy mark. I had to offset the
Got the
scale down
coolest.
of Patreon.
D-Rock got the coolest plant stand over the weekend. Going to house all my plants and four 2.5 tanks, and in the center will be a 10-gallon on its own stand. I cannot envision that. I cannot envision from the description. I cannot envision what it is that you bought, but sounds cool. I mean, I have like a swirling melange of wood type things with a whole bunch of plants and tanks on it, and that sounds cool to me. So
I'm seeing metal and two half-gallon tanks? I'm so confused. No, 4 2.5-gallon tanks. So confusing.
if it's not crazy looking on its own, you can just alter it. Heck, get some food-safe skin dye and just use it as an Easter egg. I don't know. I don't want to see this, but I'm sure someone does. What is happening with Alyssa? What is she talking about?
I think she's talking about OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah. Here's the problem. Like, I don't have interest in doing like the OnlyFans stuff, because like it's the same thing, right? Like it's the same thing where you'll get some people following it, right? And then you'll go like, oh, it makes like $300 a month or whatever. So then you keep doing it because you're like, it's making $300 a month, and then that's all it ever does, you know. And then there's all this like nude content of you doing all sorts of insane things on the internet,
Right.
for $300
Or they
a month.
push you to do weird privater things, or
Right.
The next thing we know, you're
It's
being
sort of that
flown
like
to Dubai for some weird UAE princess to do whatever.
yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. But like no, but I mean that's the point, is that it's the same thing, but also you have this like everlasting content of
Yes.
of being in a position that's questionable for certain businesses or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it really does boil down to the what was that movie where the rich guy offered $1 million to sleep with the guy's wife? What the fuck was that? Indecent Proposal, right?
Indecent Proposal.
Indecent.
Demi Moore and was it Woody Harrelson? Demi and Robert Redford.
Yeah, Robert Redford, Demi Moore, Woody Harrelson, which I could understand the $1 million for Demi Moore, right, back then. Like,
especially at that age, yeah.
she was something for sure. But like $1 million, like what the fuck are we talking about? That's crazy. But here's the thing, like the reality would be is that you would need like the Indecent Proposal in order to do OnlyFans at this point, you know?
Right.
You would need this like, hey, here's $1 million seed money to go start your OnlyFans career or whatever. And then you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, this is worth it, right? Like, let's go, we'll go do this thing because it's worth it. But nobody's going to pay you $1 million unless you have 1 million fans, right? So you have to try and get 1 million fans, and that's the process of then just doing this wacky thing that has an everlasting effect on your reputation or whatever forever, you know, like, and the thing is that like
on YouTube.
if somebody does OnlyFans, like it doesn't change their reputation for me. Like I don't care, but I don't own Walmart or whatever, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. Right. Like one of the big reasons, like I'm a liberal or a progressive or whatever the fuck stupid nickname you want to give me, for all the mega goofballs out there that want to attempt to label whatever, my political stance, is that I want to maximize freedom. Like, I want to maximize freedom and allow people to do what they want to do. And if they're in a consenting situation, then I don't fucking care what you do, right? As long as consent's been given by adults, and then that's fine. If somebody makes a ton of OnlyFans content and I'm uninterested in it, then I won't watch it, and it will never affect me, right?
Right.
So what the
More
fuck would I
power
care?
to 'em,
Like,
whatever.
What the fuck would I care if you wrote down on a piece of paper, Joel's an asshole, and then threw it in the trash and I never saw it? I don't care, right? Like, it doesn't matter to me. So
Stop
that's
going
the
through
way.
my
That's,
garbage.
that's generally the way that I view most people's, like, interaction with the world. Like, if no one's affected, like, who cares, But there are a bunch of, like, super religious fucking weirdos that believe that there is a magical dude in the sky who somehow grants them the leeway and leverage to judge every person around them for anything that they've ever done in their entire life, because then they're going to be punished by their magic guy in the sky for eternity, right? And we aren't even granted eternity on this planet, not even remotely. Life is super fleeting, super short, and then somehow you could have, I don't know, put your finger in somebody's butthole at some point, and then now you spend the eternity of time.
You're going to hell.
You spend the eternity and time being tortured by the imaginary guy in the sky that they believe in, from a book that was written by somebody who lived in a barn supposedly 2,000 years ago, but none of that actually pans out when you look into it.
Right.
It's all a bunch of horse shit. And then that creates
Probably
this...
sticking his own fingers into people's buttholes.
Just put your fingers in somebody's butthole. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not important. There's no imaginary guy in the sky. It's not real.
Nope.
Imaginary sky daddy. Imaginary sky daddy.
Sorry. That takes me back to your earlier meme, which mentioned the physical body part, which many men also believe isn't real. So.
What's
anyway. No, I was thinking of your meme earlier, which it's been my experience that many men also don't believe is real. So,
right.
Whatever.
A zip gun has a good point. Only if they want the finger there. That's very true. Very true. There
you are.
That's a good follow-up. It's a good follow-up, just as a reminder. Consent.
No
right.
pokey pokey without an okie dokie.
That's right. What else were we supposed to talk about? Yeah, chasing dreams. Yeah, I don't know. That's all kind of in the conversation we were having there earlier. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we had a good Thanksgiving. It was fun. We did a bunch of stuff. We went to a tree lighting on Saturday. I got roped into doing a whole bunch of stuff. And admittedly, I got a little bit... As a dude, sometimes I find myself getting a little bit frustrated with the timeline of things. And, like, a perfect example would be... like yesterday, Olivia had gymnastics, and I didn't see any reason for me to go to gymnastics because Grandma and Grandpa were going to be there. Grandma and Grandpa had already been taking care of Olivia over the weekend. I assumed, and here's what's wrong, I assumed that Vicky was just going to go pick her up. Now, Vicky had a headache and was just not feeling great yesterday. So then I was like, oh, I'll go to gymnastics and get her. But then Vicky came along. So, like, both parents, both grandparents, everybody is at the fucking gymnastics thing, which we don't, it's not hands-on. You're just, like, in another room watching through a window, like, oh, look at them tumble. Wow.
Right.
Which is great. And I've already gone up to some gymnastics things and I take pictures for, what is it? Prosperity's sake or posterity's sake, right? To have the keepsakes. And I was like, yeah, this won't matter. I won't need to go to that. And I was watching the Seahawks game, which, by the way, big win, another big win. That's 2 in a row. That's
Yeah.
2 weeks in
It
a row,
was-
big wins. Okay, big wins against
It was an
Arizona.
ugly win, but it was good to see.
Who gives a fuck, man? You just win. It's a win, baby. Right?
Okay.
When you win, you win. It doesn't matter. They don't check it later. They don't check later to be like, well, this is sussy. They're like, hey, man, we scored more points. We're moving on next week. Right?
Fair enough.
So it's a big win to get it done. To get the win, get it done, and move on. But I was like, the game will be over at 1:00. That'll give me 5 hours to work on some projects that I have to do. And yet I was out at the gymnastics, and then I was just there. And then we drove home, and then the girls went off to go to a friend's house, and they were like, you should come. And I'm like, why? I'm going to be sitting in someone else's house on the couch, probably playing on my phone because there's really nothing else for me to do while the girls go insane playing with each other. What? That sounds weird. The daughters, playroom,
Yes.
toys, going crazy, right? And they're not going to want to even have dad come play with them. So it would be me and their dad sitting on a couch, probably just playing on our phone or watching a football game that we don't care that much about, or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I don't really feel like socializing just for the sake of socializing. I don't want to do that. I have these projects I want to do, and now it is fucking almost 3:00. I don't know if you guys know this, but I live in the Pacific Northwest. The sun goes down at 4:15, right? As I mentioned earlier in the stream, it was 28 degrees last night, and when the sun goes away, the temperature goes down. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this about what is it? Radiant
heat.
Radiant heat from the
Yes.
radiation that's pulsed out by the sun, and it beams through space and lands on the Earth. Anyhow, that goes away. The temperature goes way down, and you can't see because I don't know if you guys know about light, but like when the light's off, there's no light. It gets dark, and then when it's dark, you can't see what's going on. So it's hard to work outside when the lights go away and it's dark, and then it gets cold. And so I was a little bit frustrated by the whole situation because like now it's going to leave me like an hour, like by the time I get out there, it's 3:00. There's about an hour of daylight to get some stuff done, which doesn't mean I'm going to get nothing done, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get like a lot of headway on anything. So I get a little bit of work done. Sun goes down. It's freezing. I'm going super slow because it's dark and it's freezing. And I'm also kind of grumpy about the whole fucking thing. And so I get some stuff done, and then I start getting texts about how I should drive up to go eat pizza, which, by the way, it was Costco pizza. Like, dude, I'm not excited about Costco pizza.
No.
But I'm like, I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep working. But then I realized, like, I don't know, 20 minutes later, I'm like, it's too fucking cold out here. It's too dark out here. What am I doing? I'll just go eat some pizza. So then I clean up, put everything away, and then by the time I go to leave, I get a text from Vicky that's like, are you just leaving right now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving right now. And she's like, oh, well, I'm headed home now. It's like, okay, then bring me some pizza. She's like, okay, I'm going to bring you some pizza. So I got to reheat Costco pizza. But anyhow, I was already in my truck, and I'm like, well, I better go get fuel because I drove around and did trailer shit all weekend. I need gas again. So I went to buy gas. And then I was going to drive by the Christmas lights. There's a big Christmas display near the gas station that I go to. And I was like going to go drive past that. Somebody had a heart attack or something and like died in their car.
Oh, no.
And so the fire department was out there like cutting his car open. But then I was just stuck in a traffic jam where you couldn't turn around. Couldn't get out of there. Because there's cars on all sides. And
Been a very bad traffic couple of weeks for you. Maybe stay away from the truck for a while. All right, go on.
Well, I mean, the last time I was driving up, I knew that traffic was going to be bad. So
Right.
It always is. But either way, someone died. So there's 2 lanes, and then there's like a median with trees and grass in the middle. So you can't drive over the median with the trees and the grass. So you can't just turn left and make a U-turn because there's curbs and rocks and fucking trees and shit, right? You're liable to just fuck your vehicle up. But like I said, because there's a big light display, there was traffic on that road, and like I said, somebody died in their car. So their car was in the way, and the fire trucks were in the way and shit because they were trying to provide aid to a person, which I am wholly on board for. So I'm not mad about the situation. I just got stuck, and it was like, all right, well, we just have to wait here until the fire department and whoever gets them out of there.
Oh, that sucks.
So we did. We waited. Then we got out of there. I drove home, and it was like, by that point, it was like 7:45. So it's Olivia's bath time. So I eat pizza, and then we get Olivia to bed, but can't get her to bed until like 9 o'clock because she's been off school for a few days. So a few extra days. So we get her to bed by like 9 o'clock, but now it's 9 o'clock. So then it's like, am I going to start editing a video, or am I going to start another project? Like, it's 9 o'clock. I got to be up on Monday morning. Because I have appointments on Monday morning that I go to, so I have to be up for that. So I can't just like go start a project and be up until 2 or 3 in the morning, working on something like a YouTube video or whatever. So it's like, well, I guess I'll just sit here and, I guess reply to some emails and some messages and stuff like that, and then go to bed. And and then that was fucking Sunday, right? So it's like that kind of shit just like gets super frustrating because like I wanted to watch a football game, but then it turns into this whole rigmarole of other shit that I got to go do. And as a guy, it's like that shit gets super frustrating, but then it's like, reality in hindsight, it's like I was doing what I was supposed to do. So it is what it is,
Yeah.
Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is.
The joy of family life.
You like joy?
I do like joy.
Do you like
almond joy?
Do you like joy? Because there will be none.
Because what?
Because there will be none. You'll just be busy doing shit forever.
Well, there's got to be a happy medium between that and whatever I'm going through is. So, okay.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I talked to Vicky the other day, and we saw a guy sleeping outside on the ground, and then she goes like, well, at least we're not sleeping outside on the ground. And I was like, that's true. Also, I'm not sleeping on the moon. So, like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about some imaginary shit? Like, what?
Right.
Perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah, no pokey pokey without an okie dokie. Now that's a t-shirt.
Bumper sticker, t-shirt, many things.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I too am looking for any income stream I can get based on content, so I'll run with it.
Yeah, do it. Make it.
I will. I'm gonna. Shirt. For shizzle. I'll sell it with my not so upbeat ones. Oh my goodness. Well, we got rid of Getz. How do you feel about Dr. Oz being the head of your future?
Oh, we're going to die. This country is coming to an end.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as we've got that going, then okay.
Yeah, I mean, I constantly hear people like, oh, yeah, well, the Senate is going to obstruct and do, people are just like clinging right now to this supposed idea that like there is somebody.
And everything's going to be status quo.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that think that like there's going to be some buddy who's going to stop them from destroying all sorts of shit. And I keep going, like, to go up the ladder for him, where it's like, well, the courts are going to stop him. And you're like, what court? You mean the appellate court? Like, because the appellate court will kick it up, right? And it'll get kicked up all the way up to the Supreme Court. And we know that the Supreme Court is, if not extraordinarily corrupt, they're definitely extraordinarily suspect of corruption, first off. Second of all, they've proven with multiple, not only with the immunity, the presidential immunity ruling, and overturning a Chevron doctrine, amongst other things, but even with just those two things, right? Well, and Roe versus Wade, right? Let's take those three things. Overturning those three rulings right there, would be enough suspicion of a different Supreme Court to launch an investigation and impeach based on the discovery of what is going on there. We know that Judge Thomas has received tons of gifts and influence from extreme billionaires. Amongst other judges have been receiving all sorts of gifts and stuff like that. So that they are most likely beholden to these insane people that have interests in destroying the United States, or at the very least, like attempting to turn the United States back, or not. The United States was never a feudal system, but they're attempting to impart feudalism on the United States, and that ultimately is their plan, right? And so you go like, oh. Well, who's gonna step in and stop them? And it's like the FBI, right? And you're like, well, the FBI is soon to be stripped, and the appointment for the FBI is, what's his name? Head
I can't pronounce it.
FBI.
And people forget
Kash Patel, which
it's Patel. That's right.
This guy. Kash Patel, AG Bar interview. I think it was in an interview or in his book. No, not interview. So we want his book. Yeah, Bill Barr didn't support Kash Patel as and it's in his book. And it's in his book. So I'm not going to directly quote whatever it is. Oh, here it is. Well, let's see if we can find it here. Here's the quote. Here's the quote from Bill Barr's book. The president then started advancing the idea of appointing Kash Patel as deputy FBI director. Patel, who was completing a stint as a deputy of acting director of national intelligence, Rick Grendel, had been a staffer to Congressman Devin Nunes and had served briefly on the NSC staff at the White House under Trump. I categorically opposed making Patel deputy FBI director. I told Mark Meadows it would happen, air quote, over my dead body, unquote. In the first place, all leadership positions in the Bureau, except the director, have always been FBI agents. They've all gone through the same agent training and have had broad experience in the field and at headquarters. Someone with no background as an agent would never be able to command the respect necessary to run the day-to-day operations of the Bureau. Furthermore, Patel had virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve as the highest level, or at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency. The Bureau already had an exceptionally able deputy, Dave Bodewich, in which I had total confidence. He was a strong leader with high integrity. He was indispensable as far as I was concerned. The very idea of moving Patel into a role like this showed a shocking detachment from reality. So that's Bill Barr's statement, who was the Attorney General for Donald Trump. That's his statement on Kash Patel, as in his book, right? In Bill Barr's book. Now everyone is claiming that Bill Barr is like a traitor or whatever, you know, even though they touted him that he was the greatest guy ever, right? You know, and this is, you know, so if you go like, well, what's going on? The FBI will enforce something. The CIA will enforce something. The military will enforce something. They're going to get rid of all of the people that have integrity and replace them with people like Kash Patel. Then those people are going to go through and start stripping those agencies of any ability to push back. And if you've ever worked at a company where they brought in a brand new CEO, and the brand new CEO just went through and fired anybody who would oppose any kind of dramatic, ridiculous changes to the business. If you've ever been through a company that has been purchased in order to strip the company down and
sell it for parts,
and eventually sell it off for parts, this is what's going to happen. These people that they're putting in are people that are from the business world that plan to take over these agencies, strip them down so that they don't work anymore, and then tell the American public they're just going to get rid of them and replace them with something better, air quote, because, look, they don't work anymore, right? The excuse is, oh, these agencies don't work anymore. Look how ineffective they are, right? But they're ineffective because you didn't fund them and you didn't put people in place to operate them, right? And eventually they're just going to get replaced with, and here's the equivalent, they're going to get replaced by people like the SS, right?
Yep.
And this is why numerous people have come out and have spoken about the fact that Donald Trump is a modern-day Hitler. That's why, because he's following Hitler's playbook. Hitler's not the only guy who followed this playbook. Hitler's just the most well-known, right, in America, right? So that's why people reference that. This has been done in many countries. It's disgusting. It's going to be terrible, and it's probably not going to lead to the direct downfall of the United States, but it will be most likely it will most likely be a wound that would be triaged from. What's that? I don't know. You keep interrupting me. I fucking lose my track. I don't know what to tell you. But I love you, Witchy Cat. I'm just saying, like, this country will be fucked from the inside, by the people that have been elected, and the fact that Donald Trump has no morals, no scruples, no backbone, no intelligence, no, I mean, whatever you want to put on it. Like, Donald Trump's a piece of shit, and he's gonna fuck this country, and we're all gonna pay for it. And they're not. And when I say they, I mean the oligarch class, the Elon Musks, the Kash Patels, the fucking Donald Trumps. All these people will insulate themselves from what we on the ground floor here are going to have to deal with. They're not going to be affected by it. It's the same reason that they overturned Roe versus Wade, right? Only the poors are going to be affected by it, because rich people don't have to fucking deal with any of that. Right? Because if they impregnate one of their, like a perfect example to tie into football is that Bill Belichick has a fucking, 24-year-old girlfriend, right? I don't know. He hangs around the UW now because his girlfriend hung around there.
Not familiar.
Bill Belichick used to be the coach of the New England Football Patriots.
Well, I know who he is. I don't know about his current
He's 72
Squeeze, I
years
guess.
old, and she is 24 years old.
Yikes.
And she used to be a cheerleader. Strangely enough, he was he was an amazing football coach, and she was a cheerleader. I wonder how that happened, right? He has a 24-year-old girlfriend. It's insane. Yeah, but as a perfect example, if Bill Belichick knocks her up and gets her pregnant, he'll just pay money for her to fly somewhere where she can get care, right? And actually, the easy way to explain that, he will pay money for her to fly somewhere so that she can get an abortion, to be clear. They're not say like, oh, she's going to get care. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to pay money for her to abort the baby, right? Like if he so decides, because he has the ability to do that. It's a $1,500 airplane ticket, $1,500 for a hotel, and $500 for a thing. That's not a big deal to him. It's $3,000, right? $3,500, whatever. No big deal, right? $3,500 to me right now would be a fucking crippling shot in the balls. You know, and same thing for 200 million Americans at the very least, right? Like how many Americans are from debt savings? I thought it was most people don't have any more than $1,000 in the bank. Nearly 6 in 10 U.S. adults are uncomfortable with their level of emergency savings, according to a new Bankrate poll. Before 2022, the percentage had been rising from 37% to 44% to 48% to 58%. This year, it's barely budged from 57% in 2023. Where's the actual number here? I remember hearing a number that was shockingly low that people had as far as savings goes. And I think, you know, I'm going to guess that there's a giant portion of Americans that don't have $3,500 or $3,000 or $2,000 to give to their girlfriend for her to get an abortion because they have to travel out of state or out of country or whatever to go do it. Needless to say, my reasoning for even bringing that up is that these rich, wealthy people don't have to deal with the shit that they're going to do. That's why they're able to do it. They're going to be insulated from it. It's not going to be something that is going to cause them problem. They're going to continue to be able to extract money. They're going to continue to have all of the amenities that they could imagine. And they're not going to be affected by it. The people that are going to be affected by it is everybody here down at the ground level. And as a matter of fact, something anecdotal for you, but I've mentioned this before. One of my cousins works for NOAA, the National Oceanographic Association of America. I can't even, it's a very important part of the government and the fact that it's tracking all of the weather and everything that's going on. And it's a very important agency. And they voted for Trump. And when asked about why they voted for Trump, because Project 2025 says get rid of NOAA. They want to privatize it. For many, many years, billionaires have been trying to get NOAA to no longer be able to be the supplier of the weather reports. Does that make sense? So that every time you log onto your phone, you have to pay $15 to get the weather report. If you ever notice, the weather reports are free because they're provided by NOAA, right? And for decades now, billionaires have been trying to corner the market against a federal agency. Well, they're going to get rid of it. And when asked about that, they said Donald Trump wouldn't do that to us. And the response to that is Donald Trump doesn't know who you are. What do you mean he's not going to do something to you? They wrote it down. It's in their agenda. They're going to, at the very least, not only are they going to try to shutter it, they're going to try to shutter it. And if they don't shutter it, they're probably going to figure out how to revoke funding, right? So it will, in effect, be shuttered. Like, oh, we didn't close it down. We just took the money away, right?
Carved it.
So, and just the level of delusion that I don't understand is that like they wouldn't do that to us, right? And you're like, they don't know you, and they don't care. So I don't understand the cognitive dissonance that is there of the like, well, he wouldn't do that to us. Like, what do you mean? Do you think he's going to like drive over to your house and do something bad to you? He's not. That's not how any of this works, but okay. And in relation to that, like, I saw a bunch of responses that people were being little piss babies about the fact that a lot of liberals, not unlike myself, were jokingly making posts about, like, I don't see gas prices. It's not $1.50. What are you talking about? And the expectation that on January 21st, gas prices better be $1.50 or what the fuck are we talking about? They don't get the joke. They're like, that just, excuse me. You can't just expect Donald Trump to just like make it $1.50 now. And you're like, that's why you voted for him. What the fuck are you talking about now? Now you want to go back on that? Okay. So the whole, like, people are like, oh, why are you being so pessimistic? And it's like, I'm not being pessimistic. I read their agenda, right? And I understand like what the outcome is going to be when they start following through on their agenda, and they're doing it. So the idea would be, oh, well, maybe they're just going to not do that, but they wrote it down and that's what they're doing. And they're going to have 4 years to do it. And, people are like, oh, you're being so pessimistic and this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, I'm optimistic that the state I live in will most likely continue on. Excuse me. The state that I live in will likely continue on whether the United States dissolves or not. One half of this state wants to secede from the state anyhow, so we'll probably just let them. But I don't see a world where the state I live in not being something that is uncooperative with our neighbors, if that makes sense. Do I think Western Washington would end up becoming part of Canada? Maybe. Do I think Western Washington, Western Oregon, and Northern California would probably all bind together to make some kind of conglomerate? Probably. I know that Eastern Washington has claimed for decades and decades that they want to secede from Washington because, all the people on the west side of the mountains are just telling them what to do, which is aptly fucking ridiculous. But okay, I guess if you guys want to go do your own thing, I guess go do your own thing, because the opportunity is probably coming. So I think the thing that's going to be pretty strange about that is that I'm sure that their ire will immediately turn on Spokane, because Spokane would probably be their capital. And then those people would probably start rioting and driving their trucks around in town to tell everybody all about it. But I think, I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know. I don't have like some kind of magic psychic vision to tell people like what's going on and what's going to happen in the future. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I do know the catastrophic nature of what this administration is going to lead to, and it will probably be utter chaos, like at the very least, right? A lot of agencies that not only the United States relies on, but the rest of the world relies on, will be like completely fucked. And that's going to be, it's going to be chaos. I mean, that like the very least that's going to happen is it's going to be chaos. And I do know that, I talked to a lot of people that are under the sort of impression now of when I say air quote, I mean, I'm quoting them, of the burn it all to the ground. That the idea that, all of these agencies and things that they've been living under for the entirety of their life is the only way to fix it is to just get rid of it, right? Like there seems to be a lot of people that think burn it to the ground is the only way to do it now. And I would almost always sort of try to talk to them about like if this, like let's say that NOAA disappears, what does it get replaced with, right? Like what does it get replaced with as an agency? Or let's take something even easier. Let's say the United States Postal Service gets burnt to the ground and we don't have that anymore. What does it get replaced with? It gets replaced with DHL, FedEx, UPS, and probably some other bullshit company that I don't know. The price on shipping is going to go up by probably 4,000% or some shit like that. You're no longer going to be able to send correspondence around. USPS prices versus let's do the brown UPS. Let's see if we can't find the basic cost difference. Here you go, right here. Here's the cost breakdown. USPS Ground Advantage, 2 to 5 working days, regular $8. UPS Ground Saver takes 5 days, $7.80. Which this doesn't even seem normal. Okay, UPS. What fucking website am I on? Oh. Sponsored by UPS. Okay. Oh, while doing this live is fucking ridiculous. But I figured I was going to pull up some of the articles I'd read before, but it didn't. Probably because I'm using Chrome instead of Opera, which I normally use Opera when I'm like doing stuff. I should probably switch to Opera when I'm doing the show, because then it would be easier to like pull up all the shit I've already looked up.
Probably.
Yeah, here you go. So United States Postal Service, Priority Mail Express, which is an overnight express, is $70. So the UPS version of that, next day air early, is $154. Priority Mail, which is 1 to 3 days, next day air, which is 1 to 3 business days, is $120 for the UPS, and then for the USPS is $16.65. Next day air saver on UPS, which is 1 to 3 days again, is $115. Priority mail large flat rate box, which is 1 to 3 days through the USPS, is $22.80. Yeah, so that's like, it's a 5 times difference. It's a 5x difference essentially. Like, and all shipping will turn into this. All shipping will turn into this is essentially what will happen. That like, when they close the United States Postal Service and they get rid of it, we'll still be able to mail things. It's suddenly the prices will only be 5 times more expensive. Oh fuck, the lights are turning off. That means the sun's going down. All right, that's enough for today. I don't care. We got a $5 super chat from Witchy Cat, and she is on the call. I gifted 5 subs. Who even fucking knows what the members are now? Who cares? No one cares. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.